Is what is going on? Match reaction. Manchester United nil, Arsenal 1, and well, Arsenal didn't really play very well in this game, but they've managed to get the win and they've got the 3 points, and that's all that matters. It is, and I thought Manchester United today played very, very well indeed. I'll talk about United first. I was very impressed with us today. I really was, and I said in the watch along, if United play well today and lose, I wouldn't be that bothered. Obviously, you are going to be bothered, but that that gives me a little bit of hope for the season. Yes, we lost. Yes, again, we didn't score a goal. Yes, again, the goal was a mistake. But if we play like that against most teams in the Premier League, we'll beat them. Today we just couldn't take the chances. We had a few really good chances, just didn't take them. And that's credit to David Raya. That's credit to the Arsenal defence. But it is annoying. It is a tough pill to swallow, this one, because we played so well. But Arsenal didn't play well, and they've won 1-0. And I know this is only the opening game of the season, but that shows signs of champions. Win when you're playing badly, and Arsenal did that today. I think Arsenal played Leeds next week at the Emirates, so you're thinking that should be at least a guaranteed win. Get Gyökeres on the score sheet for that one, but today Arsenal were out of the races, and United were by far the better team today. I don't even think anyone is going to argue about that. But again, for United, not scoring and a mistake. This happened last season. But I think today, I look at the debutantes for United. I thought Cunha was really, really promising. Same for Mbeumo. Obviously, Šeško only had about 20-25 minutes, so didn't really get to see that much of him. But yeah, I'm really, really happy with Cunha and Mbeumo. Yes, they didn't score, didn't assist, but they showed something today, and I'm proud of the performance today by United. I am proud of it, and if we can play like that for the remainder of the season, we'll give teams a difficult time. But we've got to win next week now, and this is the thing. If you lose a game, you've got to win the next game. I think we play Fulham away from home next week at Craven Cottage. We've got to win it. We've got to win that game, because if we don't, 0 points from 6. That's not good enough. We've got to win next week now, and that puts a little bit of pressure on the players. But for Arsenal, start as you mean to go on. Man City won 4-0 at the weekend. Liverpool won 4-2. And now Arsenal have won. So the top three most likely title challengers have all won on the opening weekend. I think the most impressive performance was probably Manchester City, but then again, you could say Arsenal. Going to Old Trafford opening day is a difficult job, and they defended absolutely superbly today. Arsenal, United just weren't getting the second balls really today. We just couldn't really crack the code. But all credit to Arsenal. I think Amorim will be pleased with the performance, but he needs a new goalkeeper. We're going to talk about the goal in a minute, but it's clear to see why we need a new goalkeeper. Listen, but Bayindir today, yes, made the mistake for the goal, but I think his passing today was actually very good. He looked quite calm on the ball, Bayindir, and his passing looked good. He didn't have to make any saves. I can't remember Arsenal having a shot on target, where they forced Bayindir to make a really good save. And it's the difference though, isn't it? Arsenal got a really good goalkeeper in David Raya, who made 2 or 3 really good saves, and that's ultimately what's won them the game. But let's talk about the goal. We know how much of a force Arsenal are from set pieces, and the first corner they get in the game, they score. Calafiori in the 13th minute, scoring the only goal of the game for Arsenal. I think it's crossed in by Declan Rice. I might be wrong about that, but I think it is Declan Rice who delivers the corner. It's a brilliant corner by Rice. It's right on Bayinde, but you know, I'm looking at Bayinde there. Just tip it over the bar. You see, he just tips it right to Calafiori at the back post. He's got an open net, cannot miss. Literally cannot miss Calafiori. And you know, Bayinde with the assist. Bayinde with the assist. You know, I looked at the replay as well at half time. I think Mount could do a little bit better. You know, Mount's just been pushed in the back. I think it's by Salib. I think Mount's got to be a little bit stronger there. But Bayinde is at fault for that Arsenal goal. There's absolutely no doubt about that. And you know, I said before kickoff in the watch along, it'd be interesting to see if Arsenal go 1-0 up and to see how the Manchester United mentality is. I thought the mentality was good today by Manchester United. You know, the head didn't drop. You know, we tried and tried and tried to score that goal to get back into the game, but it just wasn't to be. And you know, yes, Arsenal weren't great today, but they got the job done. You know, Arsenal will be much better next week and for the remaining of the season. But it's just so annoying as a United fan. Just, you know, it's just same problems from last season. You know, lack of goals, mistakes at the back. You know, it's exactly the same as last season. And, you know, it's proof today that Amorim needs a goalkeeper. You know, I questioned the midfield when the starting lineups came out. I thought the midfield was pretty good today. I thought everyone played well today. I thought everyone actually played well. You know, Bayinde made the mistake, but I thought his passing was decent. Everyone played well today for Manchester United. But it's just that mistake has cost us. And, you know, if you get rid of that mistake, we get a draw. And it's not a bad result. But yeah, just so annoying. So annoying. But, you know, we've got to look to next week. United have to look to next week now against Fulham. And it's a must-win game. It's a must-win game against Fulham away from home. You know, lose back-to-back games, we're in an absolute horrible position already. But I feel like if we could play like that, if we play like that in every single game, which there is no excuse to play like that every game. We're playing one game a week. There's no excuse for Manchester United not to deliver that kind of performance week in, week out now throughout the whole season. There's no excuse from these players. And you know, if we do, we'll give teams a really good game, and we'll probably win most games because the ball just did not want to go in the back of the net today. You know, talking about Raya, made a really good save to deny Cunha. Really good save to deny Mbeumo with the header. But you know, what won Arsenal that game was the defence and the goalkeeper today. They were solid. They were just solid. Bodies on the line, and it's really annoying. But congrats to Arsenal. You know, I am disappointed, but I'm pleased. I'm pleased with the performance. I'm pleased that the head didn't drop after going a goal down, but unfortunately, it just wasn't to be. The ball just won't go in the back of the net. But guys, let me know in the comments your thoughts on the match. Make sure to like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and I'll catch you later.